A very warm welcome, friends, to the Assam Tribune analysis video. We are discussing today the Assam Tribune of 4th August 2020. So these are a few courses which are available at Civil Services Achievers Point. The important newspaper topics which are picked from today's paper and will be discussed as the following points. Also, we'll be discussing the editorial. Coming to the first topic, DCGI okays phase 2 and 3 clinical trials of COVID vaccine. That is the vaccine trial. This topic will come under the General Studies 2 paper. The top syllabus topic will be governance, and also it will come under the General Studies 3 paper topic technology. The DCGI, that is the Drugs Controller General of India, has given nod to the Serum Institute of India for conducting phase 2 and 3 human clinical trials of the Oxford University's COVID-19 vaccine candidate in the country, according to the Health Ministry. Government officials told PTI that DCGI Dr. VG Somani granted the approval late Sunday night after a thorough evaluation based on the recommendations of the subject expert committee on COVID-19. The firm has to submit safety data by the Data Safety Monitoring Board DSMB to the CDSCO, that is the Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, before proceeding to phase 3 clinical trials, a senior official said. As per the study design, each subject will be administered 2 doses 4 weeks apart. That is, the first dose on day 1 and the second dose on day 29, following which the safety and immunogenicity will be assessed at predefined levels. The DCGI has given approval to the Serum Institute of India, Pune, to conduct phase 2 plus 3 clinical trials of Oxford University AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. That is the name of the vaccine in India, and this will hasten the development of the COVID-19 vaccine, the Health Ministry said. As a rapid regulatory response, the expert panel at a CDSCO on Friday, after a detailed deliberation and considering the data generated on the vaccine candidate in phase 1 and 2 of the Oxford University trial, had recommended granting permission for phase 2 and 3 clinical trials of the potential vaccine, Covishield, that is the name of the vaccine, on healthy adults in India, the officials also said. Currently, phase 2 and 3 clinical trials of the Oxford vaccine candidate is going on in the United Kingdom, phase 3 clinical trial in Brazil, and phase 1 and 2 clinical trials in South Africa. So as you can see, different phases are going on in different countries. The officials also said that the SII had submitted a revised proposal on Wednesday after the SEC on July 28, following deliberation over its application, asked it to revise its protocol for phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trials besides seeking some additional information. The panel had also recommended that the clinical trial sites which have been proposed for the study be distributed across India. So the locations where the trial will be taken place, the recommendation is that it should be distributed across India. According to the revised proposal by the SII, 1,600 people aged above 18 years will participate in the trials across 17 selected sites. According to the application, it would conduct an observer blind randomized control study to determine the safety and immunogenicity of Covishield, that is a vaccine, on healthy Indian adults. The SII has partnered with AstraZeneca, that is the company which is manufacturing the Oxford vaccine candidate for COVID-19, had submitted its first application to the DCGI on July 25, seeking permission for conducting the phase 2 and phase 3 trials of the potential vaccine. Initial results of the first two phases of trials of the vaccine, conducted in 5 trial sites in the UK, showed that it has an acceptable safety profile and homologous boosting increased antibody response. To introduce the vaccine, SII, the world's largest vaccine maker by number of doses produced and sold, has signed an agreement to manufacture the potential vaccine developed by the Jenner Institute, Oxford University, in collaboration with British Swedish pharma company AstraZeneca. Now coming to the next topic, NASA crew make first splashdown in 45 years. This topic will come under General Series 3 Technology topic. Two NASA astronauts returned to Earth on Sunday in a dramatic retro-style splashdown, their capsule parachuting into the Gulf of Mexico to close out an unprecedented test flight by Elon Musk's SpaceX company. It was the first splashdown by US astronauts in 45 years, with the first commercially built and operated spacecraft to carry people to and from orbit. The return clears the way for another SpaceX crew launch as early as next month and possible tourist flights next year. Test pilots Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken arrived back on Earth in their SpaceX Dragon capsule named Endeavour less than a day after departing the International Space Station and 2 months after blasting off from Florida. The capsule parachuted into the calm Gulf waters about 40 miles off the coast of Pensacola, hundreds of miles from tropical storm Isaias pounding Florida's Atlantic coast. Welcome back to Earth, planet Earth, and for flying SpaceX, said Mission Control from SpaceX headquarters. It's a little bit overwhelming to see everybody here considering the things that have gone on the last few months since we have been off planet, Hurley said, after arriving back home in Houston on Sunday evening, where they were greeted by a small mass gathering of family and officials, including Elon Musk. Elon Musk had rushed to Houston from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California, to welcome them. He was clearly moved and relieved while addressing the group. I am not very religious, but I prayed for this one, he said. The astronauts' ride back to Earth was fast, bumpy, and hot, at least on the outside. The spacecraft went from a screaming orbital speed of 17,500 miles per hour to 350 miles per hour during atmospheric re-entry, and finally to 15 miles per hour at splashdown. Peak heating during descent was 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit. The anticipated top G forces felt by the crew 4 to 5 times the force of Earth's gravity. Within a half hour of splashdown, the shorts and blistered 15-foot capsule was hoisted aboard a SpaceX recovery ship with a staff of more than 40, including doctors and nurses. So coming to the next topic, Pakistan court orders government to give another chance to India. This topic is related to the prisoner Kulbhushan Yadav, which Pakistan has under its captivity. This topic will be covered under General Studies 2 International Relations. The Islamabad High Court on Monday ordered the Pakistan government to give another chance to India to appoint a lawyer for death row prisoner Kulbhushan Yadav. Pakistani media reports said Jadhav, the 50-year-old retired Indian Navy officer, was sentenced to death by a Pakistani military court on charges of espionage and terrorism in April 2017. India approached the International Court of Justice against Pakistan for denial of consular access to Jadhav and challenging the death sentence. The Hague-based International Court of Justice (ICJ) ruled in July 2019 that Pakistan must undertake an effective review and reconsideration of the conviction and sentence of Jadhav, and also to grant consular access to India without further delay. On Monday, a two-member bench comprising IHC Chief Justice Athar Minallah and Justice Miangul Hassan Aurangzeb heard a petition filed by the Pakistan government to appoint a lawyer for Jadhav. The Pakistan government in a petition asked the Islamabad High Court IHC to appoint a legal representative for Jadhav so that it can fulfill its responsibility to see to the implementation of the ICJ's decision. It also claimed that Jadhav refused to file a review petition or an application to reconsider the verdict against him by the military court. Now that the matter is in the High Court, give we not give India another chance. Justice Minala was quoted as saying by News. Afghan troops retake prison attacked by ISIS group, 29 people killed. General Studies 2 International Relations topic, also in General Studies 3 paper topic security. Afghan forces said they retook a prison in the country's east on Monday afternoon following an hours-long battle a day after the facility was targeted by the Islamic State ISIS group in an attack that killed 29 people. The prison is believed to be holding hundreds of ISIS members. The attack highlighted the challenges ahead for Afghanistan even as US and NATO forces begin to withdraw following America striking a peace deal with the Taliban. Defense Ministry spokesman Fawad Aman said the prison was taken back in the afternoon. The fighting also left at least 50 wounded. Even as Afghan troops seized the prison in Jalalabad, the capital of Nangarhar province, some 115 kilometers east of Kabul, ISIS militants continued to fire on Afghan security forces from a nearby neighborhood. Sporadic gunfire rang out from nearby residential buildings in central Jalalabad, an area of high security near the provincial governor's office. As security forces swept through the prison, they found the bodies of two Taliban prisoners apparently killed by the ISIS group, showing the tensions between the two militant factions battling each other in eastern Afghanistan. The 29 dead included civilians, prisoners, guards, and Afghan security forces, said Ataullah Khogiani, the provincial governor's spokesman. The attack began on Sunday when an ISIS suicide bomber drove a car laden with explosives up to the prison's main gate, detonating the bomb. ISIS militants opened fire on the prison guards and poured into the breach. The ISIS affiliate in Afghanistan, known as IS in Khorasan province and headquartered in Nangarhar province, later claimed responsibility for the attack. The motive of the attack wasn't immediately clear. However, some of the 1,500 prisoners there escaped during the fighting. Khogiani said that 1,000 prisoners who earlier escaped had been found by security forces across the city. It wasn't immediately clear if any prisoners were still at large. Several hundred prisoners in Jalalabad were believed to be ISIS members. Now coming to the next topic, falling R values point to COVID-19 slowdown. General Studies 3 Technology. The R value or reproduction number for COVID-19 has fallen below 1 in Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai, indicating a slowdown in the spread of the disease in 3 of India's biggest cities according to a recent study. As experts sound a note of caution against the temptation to lower the guard and warn that any laxity could send the numbers of spiraling, a modeling study published in the journal Statistics and Applications found the current R value for Delhi is 0.66, while it is 0.81 for Mumbai and 0.86 for Chennai, lower than the national average of 1.16. Here we may note that the R value is the number of people getting infected by an already infected person on average. Andhra Pradesh has the highest R value of 1.48 in the entire country right now. Explaining the Delhi figure of 0.66 to illustrate the concept, Sitabra Sinha, professor of physics at the Institute of Mathematical Sciences IMSC in Chennai, who led the study, said this means every group of 100 infected persons in the city can currently pass on the infection to another 60 people on an average. Continuation of such a low value of R in a community implies that the current wave of pandemic is on the decline and could be brought under control in the near future with continued containment measures, said Divyendu Nandi, the professor of physics at Kolkata's Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research. Typically, an effective reproduction number, that is R value, lower than 1 implies that an infected person on average is spreading the infection to at most one person. He explained, stressing, stressing the need for continuing all measures. Nandi asserted, we should not lower our guard. The simplest way to think about the R number is that it measures on average the number of people susceptible to the disease who can be infected by someone with the infection, added Gautam Menon, professor of physics and biology at Ashoka University in Haryana. Now coming to the next topic, Jan Dhan bank accounts cross 40 crore mark. This topic will come under General Studies 3 Economic Development. More than 40 crore bank accounts have been opened under the government's flagship financial inclusion drive, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, launched about 6 years ago by the Modi government. As per the latest figure, there are 40.05 crore beneficiaries of this scheme, and deposits in Jan Dhan bank accounts are in excess of rupees 1.30 lakh crore. Another milestone achieved under world's largest financial inclusion initiative, PMJDY, total accounts opened under the scheme crossed 40 crore mark, committed to take financial inclusion to the last mile, Department of Financial Services said in a tweet. The achievement comes just ahead of the 6th anniversary of PMJDY launch. The scheme was launched on 28 August 2014 with an aim to provide universal access to banking facilities to the people in the country. Accounts opened under PMJDY are basic savings bank deposit accounts with additional features of RuPay debit card and overdraft. There is no requirement of maintaining minimum balance in BSBD, that is the basic savings bank deposit. These points are important. Students, please make a note of it because these points may be asked in preliminary examination. In view of the runaway success of the scheme, the government in 2018 enhanced the accident insurance cover to rupees 2 lakh from rupees 1 lakh earlier for new accounts opened after 28 August 2018. Besides, the overdraft limit facility was also doubled to rupees 10,000. The government also shifted the focus on accounts from every household to every unbanked adult. So from a family or from a household, the target has been refocused to every individual unbanked adult. Over 50% of the Jan Dhan account holders are women, and the government, as part of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, remitted rupees 1,500 per account in 3 equal monthly installments to support the poor during the COVID-19 crisis. The government on March 26, 2020 announced an ex gratia payment of rupees 500 to be credited to women Jan Dhan account holders for 3 months starting from April. The objective of PMJDY is to ensure access to various financial services like availability of basic savings bank account, access to need-based credit, remittances facility, insurance and pension to weaker sections and low-income groups. The PMJDY also envisages channeling all government benefits to the beneficiary accounts and pushing the direct benefit transfer scheme of the central government. So these steps are taken by the central government to encourage financial inclusion and at the same time to minimize corruption and increase transparency and accountability in the scheme of the government. Now coming to an editorial topic, housing for all. This topic will come under General Studies 2, Governance and Social Justice. In a welcome development, over 3 lakh houses under PMAYG has been completed in Assam. 1 lakh of those completed in the period since January 2020. Housing shortage among the poor has been a pressing concern, and despite interventions made under similar initiatives over the years, the problem persists. Large-scale anomalies in the implementation of such projects and compromises in quality control also negated the intended benefits to the masses. Even during the ongoing housing programs for rural and urban poor, there had been reports of anomalies, and the government should look into these serious allegations. A positive of the ongoing PMAYG scheme has been the engagement of around 2,000 migrated masons in construction activities. A large number of workers, including skilled artisans, have returned to Assam following the COVID-induced lockdown, and those need to be engaged in gainful engagements at the earliest. Assam had received a target of 8,81,833 houses under PMAYG from the Government of India since 2016-17 to 2020-21, and this shows that almost two-thirds of the houses are still to be constructed. It calls for renewed trust on expediting the remaining construction work by taking care of the irritants. Implementation of the housing programs has to be mindful of the fact that more than quantity, it is quality that will be the yardstick of foolproof implementation. We have seen in the recent past how the execution of such ventures had been mired in corruption, resulting in substandard and half-completed houses for the poor. Another critical aspect to be borne in mind by the authorities concerned house construction in flood-prone areas. Prudence dictates that construction of houses in such areas be integrated with ideal designs that can save such dwellings from the recurring ravages of flood. An ideal way could be to build houses on raised platforms, something practiced by some communities living near rivers. Indeed, traditional wisdom and modern technology should be blended for evolving holistic solutions to such perennial issues. A pilot project for construction of houses on raised platforms was implemented at Majuli a few years back. This is a model that needs to be replicated across floodplains that experience deluge during the seasonal floods. With more central funds coming for the purpose, it is also incumbent upon the state government to ensure that the implementation of the program is completed within the mandated time frame and in a transparent and accountable manner. While poor quality in construction of houses has been a perennial irritant, selection of beneficiaries too was anomalous, with large numbers of undeserving candidates included in the list of beneficiaries. Past experience tells us that political affiliation of the beneficiaries had a lot to do with their selection in such projects. The selection process has to be foolproof so that only the deserving poor who fulfill the relevant criteria are selected. So, students, this was the last editorial discussed today, and here we come to an end to our Assam Tribune analysis. Here you can see a few of our initiatives and courses which we offer at Civil Services Achievers Point. I hope this video has been helpful to you in your preparation. So keep revising and keep studying the current affairs regularly so that it can be reproduced in the examination and it will help you in boosting your marks. Thank you.